Assalamu alaikum.
Salam,
My name is Abu Mumin, and you are?
Dawood.
Alhamdulillah. We are here at the Garden of Peace, and we're here for a burial, and we're waiting for our brother who passed away to come. Until then, we're going to be discussing about the end of life conference. Yeah,
Yeah.
inshallah. Now, very important, this uncle whose burial is today, would like you all to make dua for him. Um, Only about 5 days ago, I visited him. You know what he said to me?
No.
He said, "You are invited to my janaza, my funeral prayers, and you are invited to my burial." And it was very strong, mashallah. And one of the things we're going to be discussing at our conference is, you know, around mediation. There's conflicts because if there are unresolved issues like inheritance, very important, like, you don't ask for forgiveness, you have conflict with your brothers, your father, or your sisters, or friends. So at the conference, we've got a doctor. Uh, she's she's very good around conflict mediation and conflict mediation around end of life. And it's very important that we understand this concept because we talk about conflict as if it's when we're well. We want to give our loved ones the best send off, don't you think, Dawood?
Yeah.
And what we want to do is, we don't want them to be stuck in the grave in terms of, the questioning. We want them to pass with flying colors. We don't want them to be stuck on the day of judgment. That's why, usually the sons, the imam gets up and he says, if there's anybody who owes my father or brother any money, please come to us. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we're going to be discussing around end of life. Do you have any questions, Dawood?
So when is the conference?
Alhamdulillah, the conference is on the 23rd of February at the Islamic Masjid,
Okay.
and from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And it's very important that people register early because there's limited amount of space.
Yeah.
And we're going to be discussing three key issues: end of life, end of life. Number two, the burial, and number three, that's three, around bereavement.
Yeah.
We don't touch this area, but somebody close to you passes away, the impact of that death, we have within our traditions a lot of bereavement support, and we are choosing to ignore. And maybe it's not our fault. Some of us were in a second generation, so we're beginning to see our mum and dads passing away, sometimes our brothers and sisters, sometimes our children. And we as a community, we need to develop these services, after death services, so that the mother or the father or the brothers or the sisters can be given support. Yeah. And of course, the end of life is another area. We always think, okay, the best place for our loved ones is in the hospital. Of course it is. But imagine now, they're going to the hospital all the time, and the amount of needles going in, the types of drugs. You want to give your loved ones dignity, and I'm not saying don't give them clinical care. Yeah, but what you need to do, you need to give them the best care, and there needs to be thinking around that. Yeah, and I think the Muslim community in general, we haven't looked at end of life care, the palliative care side, very well. And there are very limited services that takes our interest, the Muslim, Bangladeshi, Somalian community's interest um, at hand. They try their best, but we have to take more interest because death and dying is a fundamental key part of the Muslim faith. Yeah, and then the burial itself. We're going to have speakers coming along, um, talking about burial, the process, and Alhamdulillah, we're in Garden of Peace, a world class, beautiful place they have created. Yeah, but what we need to do is we need to look at the whole, and that's what the conference first time we're going to be discussing around end of life and those three areas. You looking forward to it, Dawood?
Yeah, I want to see what's about, how it's going to happen, what sort of talks you're going to talk about.
You're a revert to
Yes.
Islam. Now, if I were to just ask you, you're a young man, you know, in your mind you're thinking that you're going to live for another 20, 30, 50 years. And Alhamdulillah, I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you another 100 years.
Mm.
Yeah. Now, you're a revert. Let's say now, if you did not do your planning for, let's say, your burial or your death,
Mm-hmm.
who will bury you? Who will give you the Muslim burial?
Hopefully the community, but I wouldn't know it. But you know, that's my or people that I know. Hopefully that they will help me out. That's
Hopefully, you know, for me, is not a plan.
Well, of course they will help me out. Okay, better than definitely they will help me out.
Well, one of the things I would say, you got non-Muslim family members. What if they decide to give you a Christian burial?
Then,
They could if they wanted to.
Yeah, but then I would just actually request them to not do it. But legally, I don't know how that works.
Okay.
So
So one of the other things we're going to be discussing is how we can support people to get Muslim burial. There is a legal document,
Mhm.
yeah, and eating care. We are beginning to develop that, yeah, and you know, I know that if I die, I've got my son, my brothers, to take care of
Yeah.
it. Some people don't, and we must try to have that plan in place. And I talked about conflict that's involved, and also the planning. Do you want, if it was you who's dying, do you want to die in the hospital? Do you want to die in a hospice? Do you want to die in a care home? Or do you want to die in your own home? And if that is what you want, then who's going to come and support you at those last stages of life? Because some people, there is a lot of support, by the way. Yeah, there is a lot of support, and we just don't know. We're ignorant about that, and I'm hoping, inshallah, we're going to learn more. This is the first of its kind.
Mhm.
It is, isn't it, Ahmad?
Yeah. And there's been nothing like that.
So it's first time. So inshallah, you're going to tell all your friends?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. I think the burial is almost starting. So me and Dawood, do you want to say anything else?
No, I've not seen.
Do you have any questions?
No, I just hope the conference goes well, and just, I might just go there just to visit and see what's happening.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, inshallah. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair for listening. From me and from Dawood.
So.